So we're finally going to put that question to rest, which is going to be quicker between hand chiselling a set of hinges into a door and a frame with a mallet and a chisel versus chopping them in with a router using a jig that I'm going to make myself. We're chopping the hinges into this block here. So this is the actual hinges that I've chopped in both by hand and by router. I've chopped the hinges in using both methods to a standard that I would put on a high-end expensive solid oak or whatever quality door. This would be the standard I'd expect. So I've eliminated a standard out of the equation. Basically the door is the block of oak, so I've set that in the vise and used that as my door that I've chopped into. And then for the frame, I've used this cupboard in the workshop, so I've effectively got a softwood frame, which is the Accoya, and I've, for the top hinge, held it up at where a top hinge would go 1981 to the top of the door, and the bottom hinge was around 9 inches from the floor. So kind of mimicked chopping in by hand where it's awkward in the two different locations, and again with the router. So let's set the two videos rolling. Okay, so I'm going to watch this one with you. You can't hear on the video, but obviously it's not started with any tools out. So on the right I've grabbed my table saw, that's the first thing I've gone to, and I'm going to start making the jig to chop the hinges in. And on the left I've just reached and grabbed for the tools that I need to chop a hinge in by hand. So it's a couple of gauges, a square to square the hinge lines over, a mallet and a chisel. So with the method by hand, I've always just squared my lines over for a hinge. I've never liked using a knife. When I see people using a knife to score around a hinge, it just looks a bit cowboy and a bit sort of rough carpenter. For me, the proper method is to mark the height of the hinge and then do square housings with a carpenter's square. So this is probably where the working by hand and the methodology and the mindset of thinking that chopping in a hinge by hand is going to be quicker, is that you grab them really easy to access tools out your kit bag and you've immediately started work on chopping hinges in. So we're not that far into the video and I've already got the tools out, marked out, and I've started chopping the hinges in. Whereas on the other screen with the router hinge method, I've got my table saw out and a few scraps of wood and not a lot else to show for what I've achieved so far. So talking through the process of chopping in by hand, it's mark the hinge location top and bottom with a very fine pencil line and then square them lines back to the face of the timber. We then set a gauge up to the hinge leaf. If we want to chop the door in so it sits slightly in from the frame, you want to make sure when you set up the gauge that there's the depth for the leaf that goes on the actual door, that you've got a little bit of room between that and the knuckle to allow the hinge to be set in if it's set in on the frame. But we set them gauges up, so one gauge is for the depth of the hinge leaf and one gauge is for how deep the housing is going to be, or how deep that needs to be to get the right gap between door and frame when they're fitted together. So once we set them gauges up, we score the wood between the two lines that we've squared over on the face and on the edge of the door, and then we basically use them gauge lines as a little ledge to put the edge of your chisel in and start chiseling away and removing that housing. The first cuts on the face of the door, like with anything chiseling wood, you always want to stop the cut before you start it. So we're doing the ends and the end grain cuts in the timber before we do any chopping out or cutting of the long grain and removal of the timber. So we're stopping that cut in the grain before it gets started. That's the professional way to work, to stop a split happening in your timber and splaying off and chipping a bit of wood away that you don't want to be chipped away. Once that initial bulk of material is hacked away, we create a load of relief cuts in the wood with the chisel, and we can then start paring it back and bringing that housing down to the depth of the second gauge, so the depth that the hinge housing needs to be. Obviously being very controlled with the pressure applied on the chisel, because you don't want to slip and go beyond the back gauge line on the edge of the door. So if we look across to the right, I've been off screen for a little while because I've been setting up the router. I actually had a couple of issues which you might have picked up on if you're watching that screen. I got the table saw out and there was no battery life left in it, so I did one cut and then half of the next cut and the battery died in the table saw. I've not cut that out of the video because that's a real world circumstance, so I had to swap the batteries over for a fresh battery. And the router as well, I got the router out. It's nice and quick because of the new DeWalt drawers, which I did a video on, shameless plug. But when I got the router out, it had the wrong cutter in it as well, so I've also changed the cutter in the router, so that's another element or another factor that you could weigh in as a comment and say, look, you've got that set up to go. Well, it wasn't. I actually had completely the wrong cutter in there, and I've changed that and put it in the video so it's all equated to and timed together. And I also had I did, I think, one hinge leaf recess and had to change the battery in the router as well, so pretty much had to change everything. You know, it's kind of worst case scenario for the router. That's number one done. Number two. So when you're doing these end cuts, just come in slightly from the line, and as you hit the chisel, it tends to just warp to it. And then this back cut, like I say, just go into use the gauge line as a hold point for your chisel, for your edge, and fire it in at the angle. You shouldn't go far wrong. I've reached quite an interesting point here because I've now at this point made the jig and I've gone over to my door to start chopping the hinges in with the router, and this is really surprising. It surprised me how quickly that jig was made versus how much I've achieved chopping it by hand. And if you look, the time I strike the router into the timber of that first hinge leaf of the router jig, I've not finished the second housing of the chopping in by hand on the door. It's a really close call at this point as to which one's going to be first to chop the hinges in on the door. And as we clean the housing out, try and hold the chisel as level as possible. I did make a little mistake here with the router in that I didn't set the cutter depth and the camera was in the way, so I had to sort of walk around the camera and do it from underneath the jig. So I lost a little bit of time there as well, but I decided to leave that in. But now the jig's set and I've started routing that hinge recess, it's a really, really quick process. Really interesting to know what point I'm at right now with making that jig. I can't wait to see how this turns out. And if we look back across at chopping in by hand, I'm just taking the final cuts out that hinge housing there, just striking the centre of that gauge line so that I get a really nice accurate depth to my hinge housing. You need a really sharp chisel to pare across the grain like that, but it's the only way really to get accurate and flat bottomed housings when you're chiselling a piece of wood. I'm just fetching the corner chisel to take the corners out, so there's still a little bit of work needed to be done with the router jig, in that you need a corner chisel or to chisel them bits out by hand with a normal chisel. So a couple more tools to get out. At this point here in the video, the hand chiselling has actually just beaten making the router jig. What I was going to do if the hand chiselling beat the router by a long way with making the jig was add in a third timer for if you'd already got a jig. So if you're a carpenter by trade, you're going to be using similar hinges or the same hinges quite often. So once you've made a jig, you just keep it in a box somewhere. And if you know you're going to be chopping them hinges in, you just grab that jig and use it. And I think that would be a fair test of the speed comparison between the two. So I was going to add that in as a third timer versus chopping the hinges in by hand or making the jig and chopping them in, but I didn't feel there's any need because of the result that actually happens in this video. So you can see now we've chopped both the hinges in on the door. I've moved the camera over to the cupboard and I've set up for the top hinge recess for a start. So this puts the door height at about 1981, which is 6'6", and I've dropped the hinge down 100mm, so it's a fairly standard position for where a top hinge would be on a normal door. It's fairly solid against the cupboard, and I've screwed the block in there just like a normal frame would be, so it's exactly the same as chopping into a normal frame. And the wood that I'm chopping into is a coir, so a softwood. So it's this point at which the router hinge jig really just starts to take over. Now, like in my video that I did on making the jig, you could adapt this jig to work if there was door stops on the frame. You could cut it down so it's a set height from the top of the frame. You can do all sorts of things with this thing. Put screw holes in it so that you could fix it to the frame so you don't have to hold it where the door stop is going to go, so you never see that eventually. Or you could even make it with a little nib in the centre of the housing where you're chopping the hinge out, where you screw it in that position and then route around it, and it just leaves you with a little nib of wood left in the middle of your housing, and then you just take that little bit off with a chisel afterwards, and you've held your jig in place, routed it without having to hold it or clamp it. So there's loads of options you can do. They're so easy to make, you can adapt them to whatever work you're doing. So it's why I try and stress that people should attempt making their own and get used to adapting things and making it in a real world situation, rather than just settling for buying an expensive jig that can only do one thing, and if it can't fit them parameters, not being able to do the job. So top hinge is done with the router jig, notched all the corners out, drilled the holes, and we're on to the bottom hinge already. That recess is already machined, just need to clean the corners out and drill a couple of holes, and that's virtually done. And if you look across to the left hand side of the screen, we're still chiseling in that top hinge. Now this is offhand for me, so this is the only thing with the chiseling by hand video that was a detrimental factor. Like we had the battery changes and stuff for routering in and making the jig. This is the only thing that was a detrimental factor for chopping in by hand, in that I'm a right-handed person and it's really easy to chop in hinges the other way around to this in the video. But again, that is a real world factor, and you can't choose which way a door is hanging, and 50% of them are going to be this way around. So it's kind of an element that is variable, but it's just what it is. Like I say, there's other factors in the router side that would have slowed it down as well. And to be honest, I don't think it'd actually make an awful lot of speed difference. There's probably 1 to 2 minutes in it. So we're on the finishing straight now for the router and jig method, just attaching the hinges to the door. One of the factors that I've noticed watching this back was, and it is a factor, if you're working in someone's house, you're going to want better dust extraction. I didn't use any dust extraction in this. It was 7 o'clock at night, let's just make this video because it's been requested a lot. So I just did it. So there was no dust extraction whatsoever. You're going to want to use some dust extraction, and there is an adapter and fitting that fits my router, and quite often I'll have to clamp the jig in place to then hold a hoover hose while I'm routering to catch all the dust from the router. So I estimate that's going to add on probably another minute to the video for the hinge jig side. Time! So there we go, hinge jig is finished. The chopping in by hand is still going, so I'll keep that rolling in the background. But what do you think? Are you surprised by the result of this video? Because I was actually smiling watching this back. I couldn't believe I edited the two together, put them in and just sat back, and I was just sat kind of amazed at the difference between the two. I thought there would be close result between the two, but I didn't think the hinge jig would smash it out of the water like it did. And you know, I was trying to go as fast as I could chopping in by hand, but there's also an element there of you've got to be careful if you're working on good projects and proper woodwork. You've got to do it carefully, because you can't risk ruining a £300 or £3,000 door just because you wanted to rush the hinge because you wanted to do it quicker than you could do with a router. So there's a good element of control there, and I don't think I did it particularly slowly. Let me know in the comments if you think that I'm a slouch at chopping hinges in, but I'd suggest if you could do a video and show me chopping a hinge into a really good standard by hand incredibly quickly, then perhaps I'll do another video and compare that against just using a router hinge jig if you've already got a jig, and see what the result of maybe the quickest person to send me a video of chopping a hinge in by hand versus a jig if you've already got one made, because it could be quite another interesting thing to see. But I think what I've done there is a good representation of someone that can chop a hinge in by hand to a good standard, and kind of the speed it would be done at, because realistically you're not going to shave an awful lot of time off of that. That was a little bit of a different video for me. Let me know what you think in the comments, and normal service will be resumed shortly with this sash window series that I've been editing what seems like months now. So there's a lot of footage to go through, and it was a really big edit. So thank you for your patience, and I will see you shortly. Okay, that is time for the hand chiselling.